Hello from Australia. I don't know why this is always flipped. Okay, hold on. I can figure this out. Okay. Every time. Hold on. Hi, guys. Okay, there we go. What's going on? What's up? Hi, Refly. Hi, Eclecte. How you doing on this fantastic Monday? Happy Monday. I figured we switch it up because, you know, when I turn on the starting soon screen, some people are getting their stream ready. I'm just sitting here in silence. I hit start streaming. Sometimes I go like pee or something. But then I'm just sitting here doing nothing, waiting until the ads are over. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll just do yoga instead. But also, holy shit, Refly, 45 streams. Damn. Congratulations. That's awesome. Wow. That's amazing. Thank you for spending time with me. Okay, I'm gonna reduce my camera just a bit. Anyways, I hope people are doing fantastically. We're gonna bump up that energy meter to a solid 4 today. The ads were meant for you. Sitting in silence, staring at the ads. Yeah, well, I don't stare, so I don't get ads, but I'll just stare at my screen, my starting soon screen. I'll sometimes like do random stuff on my, my Discord or whatever, but yep, just sitting here. 4 energy meter is wonderful. Yes, today is a wonderful day. We're alive. We're alive, and that's something, you know? If you notice, I fell earlier when I was doing yoga. And that's the thing. If you fall, you just kind of brush it off and keep going. One of the most important things I learned from doing yoga is to not try and to like let your body do what it naturally wants to do. lend me your energy, please. Yes, I could reach. Well, I don't want to like exaggerate, I want to be realistic about my energy levels. So, hello, Chaotic, how's it going? We're talking about yoga. Don't worry, we've got a philosophical topic today that we'll be discussing. We got so much planned. We got memes. We got Wedding Dash 2. It's gonna be amazing. One of the most important things you can do with yoga. So what will single-handedly make you injured like every single time is if you whip yourself. If you whip yourself too fast when you're doing those poses, oh boy, you're just asking to be injured. If you like make really jerky motions without control, whip. So whipping like like cracky whip like that, like jerky motions. So if you're taking a yoga class, for example, and people are doing the exercises really, really fast and you can't keep up, if you try and keep up and try and like, meet their speed, that's not a good idea. If you just can't be that fast, then you can't be that fast. Go at your own pace. Because what I hate seeing people do is just like jerking. The jerky movements, the rigid and precise, like it's precise, yes, but like the rigidity is what. I injured my hip like a couple years ago, and it's permanently injured. I've got like little tears in my hip muscles, and I'm gonna have those I'm gonna have hip pain for the rest of my life. And so that sometimes life just teaches you a lesson. And in order to get through to your head, sometimes you have to have like a daily reminder. And so that's my daily reminder, is my pain being like, yep, don't go too fast. Yeah, yoga taught you to slow down. And that's exactly what you're supposed to do during yoga, absolutely. Can't go too fast with yoga because I'll get super dizzy. Yeah, when you're working back up to stand up, if you don't take enough breaths, if you don't breathe enough, and if you go too fast, you're gonna get dizzy. Yeah, seeing people speed run yoga, it's pointless. Yeah, like I'll show you what people do, and this is what you're not supposed to do, okay? You're supposed to like, oops. So like, oh, there's Toby. Anyway, people will like, well actually I guess I could just, there. Hello? Oh great, my camera's freaking broken. My camera's freaking broken. Oh my god. Today of all days. Okay. Oh. Okay. Why is it? Okay, 1 second. I got this. It's just, it's not screwed on all the way. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay. Stop moving to the left. Stop moving to the left, you piece of shit. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be screaming at my camera. An inanimate object. You know what? That's not yoga. That's not what yoga's about. Yoga is about enjoying all the beings, including the plants. Sometimes I like to sit here and I'll stroke my plant. I'll just be like, hello, plant. Sometimes I hit it by accident and then I feel bad. I'm just like, hello, plant. This plant, I highly encourage you to get a plant like this because they will, look how many new shoots are coming out. Oh my God, it's amazing. It's just like, I started out, I bought it when it was like this high. And I've had it for like 5 or 6 years. And it's just like, it's beautiful. But anyway, respect plants, respect inanimate objects, be nice to your inanimate objects. Because it's all special and beautiful. Okay, so let's do something you're not supposed to do. Let me see if I'm good at I don't know if I'm good at demonstrating, but I'll try. So like, let's say you're gonna do like a 3-legged dog, okay? Well, let's just do like a basic chaturanga. Okay, so if you like start out like this, and then you come down, and then let's show what not to do. So what not to do is to like jerk yourself up like this. Bruh, just don't. Just do not. Like you gotta like, it's all about like slowly vertebra by vertebra coming up like this. But what I see most often with the jerking is when people do it with their legs. So like, let's say you're in downward facing dog. You wanna do a 3-legged dog. So they're like, oh, do 3-legged dog. People be going over here like this, we go, psh. Don't do that, okay? Don't do that. Or like when people do the fucking like, so they'll like go like this, and then they'll like go like this. And when you like whip your leg up like this, and you slam it down on the ground, you're jerking your muscles inside of your hips, and that is just asking for disaster. So you can actually build more strength if you do it slowly and controlled. Like as slow and controlled as possible. Like if you're doing, you lift your leg up like this, and it's even better if you make it all one fluid motion, and you bring it up. And this is why they do certain exercises where you stop right here. So you just hold your leg like this, and you stop it, and you bring it back up, and you stop it. Because you can, if you do it properly, you bring it forward, and then you gently put your foot down. So anyway, that's sorry. I just had to yap about that. Because I injured myself. And I don't want other people to injure themselves when they do yoga, you know? So anyway. Oh, okay, we're good and warmed up now. I'm nice and warm. Holy fuck, okay, let me catch a breath. Let me change my music. Okay, there we go. Anyways, how's everyone doing today? Reflex said speedrunning yoga is dangerous. And Marissa said professional amateur. Oh, absolutely. Refly, you capture the spirit of me perfectly. Professional amateur here. Yeah, I'm not licensed or anything, so I'm not a technical yoga instructor. But I think one day I want to get my yoga instructor license. Eclectic said, I think transitioning quickly into the next pose is always an obvious do not do. Yeah, but like, dude, I see people all the time do that because they want to keep up. They want to make sure they're on the, that you don't want them to fall behind. Because everybody wants to be on the same page. We want to flow together. But nope, just don't. Certified bruh move on that one. Real. Anyway, let's actually talk about philosophy, shall we? Don't worry. We're not just yapping about yoga here. We're going to yap about philosophy. Because not only am I an amateur at yoga, I'm also an amateur at philosophy. Fuck yeah. Okay, so for the philosophical, let's see, what's our title for today? Our title is Sharing is Hard. Sharing. Our topic is sharing. So we all know that it's armchair. Amateur, armchair, all the same thing. Let me actually think of a coherent question. So, context. I went to church this weekend and there was a discussion about things that were important to people. And as an introvert, I struggled to say my piece. And like, okay, here's the question. So the question is, how often do you, when you enter a conversation, do you enter it with the intent to make yourself heard? I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, what am I getting at? I'm getting at like, I was sitting in that conversation, right? And it felt like all anybody ever wanted to do was just say what happened to them. And then when somebody said their thing, then everybody wanted to like give their 2 cents. People wanted to give their 2 cents and like insert their ego into the conversation. And like, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. I mean, I think we all agreed to do that and be there for that. However, if you've ever been in a really engaging conversation, have you noticed that when you're in a really, really engaging conversation, your body language is like, you're like gripping the chair, you're like leaning in, you're like, people are saying something kind of funny and everybody laughs. It's like a flow state being generated in the conversation. It's magical. It's magical. It's amazing. So that happened, right? And it was just getting more and more magical, and there was more and more meaning being generated for people. And that's great. We were just talking about like life and like what's getting us down and et cetera, et cetera. And then somebody says something and it like fucking cuts through everything like a knife. Have you ever had that happen? Where it's like you're really engaged in a conversation and somebody else is like, they just like come out of left field and just say something that's like, whoa, okay. So obviously not everybody here is having a good time. It's just like mind blowing. Because you think, oh yeah, everybody's getting as much out of this as I am. But then you're like, then the person says something and it becomes clear that somebody's been sitting there for the past 20 minutes, 30 minutes, stewing in their head and wondering how to contribute, and they're not finding anything of value from the conversation. So I guess in that case, okay, question of the day. Is it our responsibility to always accommodate everyone in our communities? Sharing can be uncomfortable. Here, how the fuck do I spell accommodate? I think it's with 2 M's. Like, is it the community's responsibility to always include everyone? Because that person said something and the entire flow, like everybody's groove would just, it's like an Emperor's New Groove, where it's like, you threw off my groove. They did that except for like 20 people. They said something that was like completely beyond, like, that proved that they did not care about what was going on at all. They just wanted to insert they felt bad that they weren't able to, and that's hard, right? I mean, you see so many people having a meaningful conversation and you want to be a part of it, and so you just want to, but then you just can't because you can't get in the moment for some reason. And so you're like, okay, I'm going to take control, I'm going to take charge, and I'm going to say the thing that's going to make everybody pay attention to me. And that's what they did. Hi Sam, how's it going? Sam says, no, it's not. No, it's not. I think I agree with you. As difficult as that may be, I think I agree. It's hard because I want to please everybody, and I want everyone to feel included. And I think the reality is that people are just too diverse to all be included all the time. There needs to be times and spaces for groups to, I think potentially the correct thing that would have been done was that the person who was not feeling engaged and not feeling a part of it would go off and form their own group, and then everybody go talk to them. Everybody who resonated with them would go talk to them. For the time and place, for what was being intended. It's not like we were making any big decisions. It's not like we were like, solving world problems. Like, we were all there to generate meaning for each other and like feel heard and seen, etc. So like, you know what I mean? So Eclecte says, I typically won't enter myself into a conversation, even if I have experience with the topic or an interest in the conversation. I feel like if I wasn't a part of it from the start, no reason to insert myself. Yeah, so if you're not already a part of it, you don't typically tend to join. And that's different for, I think there's like some subtle variations between like, one-on-one conversations that are occurring and you interrupting, and then group conversations that are happening and then you interrupting. But it can almost be the same effect. When a group is having a conversation, even if you're sitting in the circle of the group, if you say something that completely throws off everybody, like, whoa, because it wasn't just me that was thrown off, it was multiple people said, oh, okay, there were subtle things that people said that acknowledged that they were like bothered by what the person said. Because we were talking about, I can't remember the exact specifics, but the person like interjected and said, I just want everybody to know that you should do integration with a licensed professional. Because we were doing integration, which is something in the psychedelic community, which basically is in the psychedelic community, it's like when you take psychedelics, integration is the part where you basically connect your experience to real life and figure out ways you can be better. And so that's what we were doing. But the person, for some reason, like, had the audacity to say, just so you know, there's several licensed professionals out there that you should see, and I'm one of them. So they took the opportunity to, like, self-promote themselves. And it's like, okay. People were revealing things about their personal life that were really, like, traumatic and, like, difficult, you know. Sam was like, yeah, just so you know, you're all wrong. Yeah, and I'm right. No, literally, no. That was exactly the vibe. I just, how can you be so far off base that you just make a comment like that? You don't realize what's going on here. But I don't think it was done necessarily in bad faith. I just think the person had no idea what was being created there in that moment. They just weren't present in the moment. They were holding on to their egos so much that they were ignoring everything else and, like, needing to interject. Chaotic says, I think this topic could be analyzed through the lens of care ethics. Don't know if you know about this normative ethical theory, but I think you really... Ethics of care. I don't know about ethics of care, Chaotic. Are there any books about it? Yeah, I think I'd be interested in reading about it, for sure. Eclectic says, I feel like as a community, it's a given to have open arms, otherwise it defeats the purpose. Though if someone just isn't fitting or making the space uncomfortable, then accommodating them is not the community's responsibility. Yeah, and we're open. I mean, he was there sitting with he's allowed to sit with us, and, you know, everybody could sit with us. But it's like, if you just because we welcome people with open arms doesn't mean we welcome, you also have a responsibility as an individual to participate in a way that's, I mean, and not saying, like, you can't ever ask for help, like, you can't ever ask for selfish things, but there's got to be a little bit of, like, awareness of there's a give and take. It's not always a transactional relationship, but, like, you just gotta have, like, a little bit of awareness of what's going on. Reflex said, you dislike that person now, but in a month you're gonna go to a restaurant with them and they're paying No, I'll probably be paying for the food, honestly, if we're gonna be honest here. Oh boy, that was that was an interesting interaction. Okay, a top model, no pink, no white, light, stylish. Okay, cool. Stylish. Is this stylish? I don't know. Okay, no pink, no white, yellow, and also well lit. Yes! Can I get a yes? Here, I'm gonna do a yes. I'm gonna do the yes.
Yes!
Yes! First try, baby. Okay. Derek.
Life is Roblox.
Life is Roblox. Absolutely. I was thinking about adding new... Oop. Okay, wait, hold on. I was thinking about adding new sound alerts eventually. But then I couldn't think of any good ones. I want to do eGen May, but, like, that one is a copyright nightmare. So probably not. Oh, okay, let's see. We're gonna put him here. We're gonna put him. Oh. Oops. Whatever. Oh crap. You know what? I'm gonna start over. Freak. This. Okay. There's a second try. It's fine. Um, Eclectic said the responsibility is to give an open space for everyone, but not to accommodate those that are misusing the space or throwing off the vibe. Yeah, misusing the space. Yeah, exactly. And Chaotic says, I think it really depends. If our community was created with the purpose of help and helping and accepting different people, then I'd say the group has a level of responsibility to make people comfortable within reason. You don't always need to be open to anyone entering the community at all times. Yeah, and I mean, so Chaotic, the response of the community was actually really positive. I mean, people were uncomfortable for sure, but like, what they did was, they instead redirected the person. They were like, okay, I think I understand where you're coming from. However, I value this type of integration, the informal integration, because XYZ. Like they were like, yes, it's like talking about the debate tip from earlier, from last week. We were like, yes and or no but. So they were yes anding them, and I appreciate that. Okay, hold on. Wait for this guy to be happy. Okay, there we go. And that was the appropriate way to deal with that person. But the person basically shot themselves in the foot for their self-promotion. Nobody's going to go to them for their services because they said it at the most inappropriate time. So I guess the thing I am worried about is like they just like it makes me wonder like how many times I shoot myself in the foot by not being self-aware, you know, of like how I'm affecting people and how I come across. Oh, there's so many song requests. Holy shit. Okay. Gotta accommodate everyone. So I think it's just important to try and be as self-aware as possible. But like I get it, because I've been to church before and there's been a discussion that I didn't particularly like, but I noticed a lot of people were like enjoying it a lot. I was just like not feeling it at all, and it's hard when you're not feeling it to like pay attention. So you're like looking around the room, like it actually happened right before. Somebody was giving a presentation about chakras, and let's see, 1 second. Okay, everyone's mad. Well, you're not gonna get what you want. I'm sorry, lady. Okay. Oh, crap. Nobody gets what they want. It's fine. We're gonna do one last seating. We're gonna sedate them with champagne. Chaotic says, you can Google about ethics of care online. There's plenty of websites available explaining and exploring ethics of care. It actually started as a feminist ethical theory, as it was analyzed that all major ethical theories focus more on how men think. Although it's also controversial to say men and women have different ways to think ethics, as it can perpetuate the gender norms. Chaotic, this is something I always struggle with. I feel like sometimes the pendulum swings too far in terms of feminism. As someone who personally dislikes feminism, because like we do have fundamentally we do have biological differences between men and, I mean, that's a fact. There are biological differences. I don't think that's a controversial take at all. And but where it gets like tricky is when we're thinking about like how people's brains work, because you know there's a lot of negative stereotypes about the different genders, and so it's so hard to navigate for real. But also, like, I don't know, there's some unique things about the female experience, the male experience, that should be addressed. They shouldn't just be glossed over by saying, oh no, we're all the same. We're all the same. Like, I don't know, that doesn't, it kind of discounts some of those real lived experiences, I feel like. And Reflex said, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Quinn is a terrible wedding planner. Get more tables. I know, right? There's just not enough tables. Well, we got to be really good at time management, I guess. Chaotic says, I personally think my own way of thinking ethics and morals is by using a combination of deontology, consequentialism, and ethics of care. Okay, so ethics of care is something you incorporate a lot into your worldview. Cool. Well, this actually is an important tangent. I wanted to address the movie that I watched. Because that speaks to the feminine experience. Women and mental health. But, yeah, this movie. If anybody's seen this movie, oh boy. Oh boy. It is very uncomfortable. Luckily, I was in a headspace where I was able to be receptive to this type of media. But if you look on Reddit reviews, a lot of people had a hard time. Because there's a lot of things in the movie that are designed to be as obnoxious as possible. And that's the point. So, like, babies crying. Hi, Ivan. Oh my gosh, hi. Oh, congratulations on your 5-stream streak. Wow. Well, I'll show you what you desire, Ivan. Look at this. I'll show you what you desire. Look at her. She's laying in the sun. I'm gonna go. She's like a little blimp. Okay, hold on. Hi, beautiful. Hi. I love you. Hi, sweetie. Good girl. You're so special. Yeah, you're special. Oh, I'm so sorry. Did I scare you? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. Go lay down again. Go lay down again. I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so rude. How dare I? I kicked something over by accident, and so she freaked out. Whoops. Anyway. Okay, there we go. Wait, am I mirrored? I'm mirrored. Okay, that's fine. It's a new change of perspective. Monday, it's a new day, new perspective. Ivan says cats are number 1. All others are number 2 or lower. Facts. Wait, Ivan, do you have any cats? Do you have any? Are you a cat person? Well, you could be both. You could be a cat person and a dog person. I'm a cat person. I love cats. All cats are beautiful, special angels. I am a cat. Oh, okay. How does one identify as a cat? Is it like a metaphorical thing? I'm a lion. It reminds me of those like wait, I need to. This one. Wait, no, that's AI generated. Where's the one where the kid looks at the lion or the cat looks at a lion? I remember seeing this all the time as a kid. Like, you are great. Meow. Me imagining, oh my God. Me when I imagine Ivan doing that in real life. Oh my God, I can't. Like I said, you are full of surprises. Keep them coming, my friend. Okay. Anyway. Extremely depressing, upsetting. Anyway, back to the serious stuff. Sphinx cat. I'm not gonna say anything about that. Oh my God. But, so I watched this movie, and I feel like it was a great depiction of how women deal, like, some women, this is typically, I'm just gonna say women over and over until, like, I don't know, I get tired of it. Women be shopping. Wait, have you seen the women be shopping meme? I love this meme. No, come on. Yeah, this one. Women be shopping. Okay, sorry. This is important. I enjoyed it. But, like my husband, for example, he fucking hated it. Well, he liked it. He thought it was a good movie, but he was extremely irritated. And apparently a lot of people were too. I think it's because, like, a lot of the ways that women deal with mental health issues is we internalize all of it and we self-destruct. We just, like, there's a lot of imagery of holes in the movie, like a black hole and everything. And it's symbolism, right? Symbolism of just, like, a never-ending trauma and things being sucked into you. And, you know, this particular character, I won't do any real spoilers really, but she, like, self-medicates with, like, alcohol, drugs, and it's, like, just constant, just, like, fueling that black hole. And there's the way that women are depicted in the movie it's so, I felt so validated. I was like, yes. And the way that the way that people in society treat that, where it's just like, it's crazy bitch. You crazy bitch. You know. Okay, mom, you know. Because she's a mom as well. That's a huge part of her story. But it was more than just about women. It was also about, like, how people as a whole are never listening to each other, because and this relates to our topic for today, sharing space in conversation, making sure everybody's heard. The way a lot of conversations go is somebody just wants to be heard and they don't want to hear the other person. They just want to say their piece and then leave. And this movie is like that to a T. This movie is that, like, on steroids. It's insane. You're just like, nobody's listening to each other. It's so infuriating. None of the characters is listening to her. It perpetuates the cycle of her not listening to others. She's a therapist, which is very concerning. She also has a therapist for herself, and it's interesting to see the comparison between how her therapist basically shuts her down, and then she goes on to have her clients and she does the exact same thing because her needs are not being met, and so she takes it out on everyone around her. It's like, oh my god, dude, it's bruh. But it's also a good depiction of how things can just build and build and build and build and build until they just bubble over. And with a woman like this, she's constantly at the breaking point. She's constantly just, like, being sent over the edge because she lets it all build. That's what happens when you internalize your suffering. When you just, like, everybody taking things out on you, and then you not being able to release that pent-up frustration, it's going to reach a boiling. And if you just keep self-medicating and drinking and whatever, like, that's going to have so many future consequences. But you don't realize it because it's in a cycle, exactly. It's a constant negative cycle and spiral. Chaotic says, I identify with that. I usually also tend to internalize my own suffering and destroy myself. Yes, I used to do that as well. Well, I still do that a lot. Like, being extremely self-critical. I used to have a problem with drinking, with alcohol. And, like, just using that as a way to just feel better. Because it's, like, you feel like nobody understands. Nobody understands what it's like to be me. Nobody's listening to me. nobody gets it, nobody gets me. You know, you get in those thought patterns, right? And you see, like, I don't know if it's not really a spoiler. It's more like my perception of the movie, which is that everything has to do with your perspective. And this is not in the toxic, like, it's look on the bright side. You know, like people say, like, just think about the positives. Life is amazing. Just get over it. You know, just smile more. Can you please smile more? I want to see that beautiful smile. The amount of men that have told me that. Ah! Okay. Anyway, sorry. Feminine rage. It's like. Sorry, I just had like red eye, like, you know, when a bull is charging at like one of those guys who rode. I was like seeing red. So let me rein it back in my thoughts, so we can have a productive conversation. Reflex says, I hate how using substances is called self-medicate. Medication is to solve things, not make it worse. Yeah. Yeah, and I agree. Because you're not really solving the problem. When we say self-medicate, especially when it comes to those type of substances, you're actually making things worse. But when you're so close to the boiling point, you'll just take anything to take those thoughts away, anything to take that pain away, just for a minute. This character, that the entire movie, she doesn't have a moment to herself. Her phone's going off. Her daughter is screaming and crying. There's a baby screaming and crying. There's people needing her. There's blah, 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 you know. It's like nonstop. And so that's why people often turn to these kind of substances to like just turn it all off. Especially the thoughts. Because a lot of it, I think a lot of it also has to do, obviously we can't hear what's happening in her head. Are there spoilers? No, I don't think I'm spoiling anything really. I'm just talking about my overall perception of the movie. Yeah, I highly recommend. But again, like I said, by the way, I hope you're having a good day, Orange. Be mentally prepared before you watch it, because it's uncomfortable. It's not a pleasant movie to watch. It's not a fun movie. It's not an entertaining movie, but art doesn't have to be always entertaining. Art can be, ultimately, it's a form of communication. And when it communicates something that you just can't communicate with words, when I tell you, it's so validating. And the validation, even if it's uncomfortable, is like so freeing. So listen, if you're, so that's why I'd recommend it. But don't go into the movie expecting to feel better afterwards. No, you will leave the movie feeling, thinking a lot. I'll say that. So, yeah. Anyway, if I keep yapping about it, dude, I'm gonna start spoiling it, so I better stop. But, Chaotic says, therapists that have therapists, it's a cycle. Yes. And it's hard to see the cycle in motion, like, where it's almost like generational trauma, in a way. It is a lot, it's very much like generational trauma, where it's like somebody does something traumatic to another person, and they internalize that. They don't deal with it. They put it on the next person, and that person puts it on the next person, and then it continues that cycle. And that's very frustrating to watch. And it makes one ask oneself, like, how do you break out of that? How do you stop that cycle of abuse? And that's a very important question to ponder, I think. Orange says, very interested. Yeah, let me know. Feel free. My Discord DMs are always open, so feel free to always chat with me. Let me know what you think about, if you want to talk about the movie. Yeah. Eclectic says, I wonder if her being in a constant state of shutting down is due to her substance abuse, to numb herself rather than working on herself. Yes. Yep, that's definitely a component. Yeah, like, sometimes you don't realize that you're making your situation even worse. And when you get in that headspace of when you think the whole world's out to get me, nothing's going right, you know, everyone's out to get me, everything sucks, my life sucks. And this is what happens a lot of the time when you have depression or anxiety, when you have mental illness. You think about those things. The last thing you want to hear is that you have to start doing stuff. That, like, you have, like, you know what I mean? Like, where people say, like, I can't help you, you have to. Because according to my perspective, there has to be a spark within yourself in order to break yourself out of it. The thing that broke me out of it was I had a near-death experience, and that's what it took. Sometimes that's what it takes for people, is like being face-to-face with death. Something, not everybody needs something that dramatic, but something that lights the fire within you that is like, okay, I'm going to try. But when it feels like the world is just kicking the shit out of you, the last thing you want to do is like try, because you feel like you're already trying. You're like, I'm already trying the best I can. I'm already doing the best I can, you know? And you're like, how could I possibly do any more? It's hard. It's hard. So it's really hard. It's difficult getting out of that headspace. Absolutely, Eclectic. Chaotic says, really difficult indeed. I know this by personal experience. Fortunately, I was able to free myself from that cycle. Very fortunate. Yes, I'm very glad that you were able to do that. It's not easy. And so I applaud and commend everybody for being able to break out of that. Yeah. Because being on the other side is nice. Hi, Tweet. Welcome. How's it going, Tweet? Yeah. So anyway, that's my take on this movie. I don't often like to watch movies that, you know, make me uncomfortable. It's not usually my choice of entertainment, but that one particularly, I was looking for some validation. Now, I can see if you're currently in the midst of, you know, this type of mental turmoil, this might be triggering for you. But the fact that I'm on the other side and I get to look back and see somebody else going through it, I was able to look back and be like, wow, I know what that's like. And it was very validating. Like, oh yes, my suffering is real. My suffering is real. Suffering is relative. I've always believed that. And other people just don't get it. But that's the beauty of art, is that sometimes it communicates to you that other people have gone through that, and you're not alone. And it's amazing. Because you can have so many people tell you, what do you mean? Because the woman in the movie, like, she's like middle class. She's, you know, she doesn't have too many. I mean, she has some like externally obvious struggles, but you know, it's hard to see But the movie does a good job of framing, like, the internal battle that she's going through. Because, like, nobody really knows. Although I say nobody really knows, but other people do know. You just have to look for them. A24 puts out some great movies. Absolutely. A24 is my favorite movie studio. Hands down. Like, almost every movie they put out is a banger. I mean, some of them are really freaking weird. They put out some weird movies. But I like weird, so... Chaotic says, something that helps is to understand that life is impermanent. Everything changes sooner or later. That includes ourselves. True. It's hard to recognize that in the moment, though. When you're in the midst of your suffering, it's hard to see a way out. You think it's going to continue on forever. But you gotta keep trying. You gotta keep going. Don't give up. Find someone else. Find someone else who knows what you're going through. I cannot stress this enough. Find someone else who will maybe not necessarily knows what you're going through, but like who will take your pain and your suffering seriously. If you have a therapist, make sure that therapist isn't just like, because again in the movie, certain depictions of how therapists deal with things where they're just closed off and they just kind of shut people down. I've had therapists like that before, where it's like, I feel like they didn't even listen to a word I said. And I'll say things and they don't want to deal with difficult and deep emotion. And so the therapist will be like, okay, I think you need to see a higher professional. I think you need some of this. They're just very quick to like push an easy solution so they can stop, having to deal with your difficult emotions. I've had therapists like that. But the good therapists I've had one good therapist in my whole life, and she instead took the approach of, oh, I'm sorry you're going through that. Can you tell me more about it? And then she just listen. She wouldn't like apply any judgment to what I was saying. She would like try and understand my point of view and see why it was difficult for me. Not in like a because a dangerous territory you can get into is where you like coddle someone, I guess, or like say like, oh, it's okay to always be suffering, and that's a problem. But sometimes some people, all they need is to be validated and listened to in order for them to move on. They need someone to be able to expose all that deep pain you hold within yourself, to be able to expose that to somebody else and have them be able to say, okay, I could see where that would come from. And then they'll say, here's why I don't think that's going to happen, or something. But not reacting in a way that's like, ooh, oh, she's crazy, like, that's not helpful. Every stage and cycle would eventually end, good or bad. Yes. Yeah. Chaotic says it's funny. Philosophy was something that had contributed to my suffering a lot, but at the same time it also helped me in other aspects of my life. Nowadays I feel like I'm with philosophical views that I'm comfortable with and I think are logical, valid, and coherent. Yeah. I kind of feel similarly, and I feel like with philosophy, like, you're allowed to If you're just using philosophy as something to add meaning to your life, then yeah, you can pick and choose what works for you and what doesn't. Like, if you're not like in academic philosophy, I mean, if you're like in academic philosophy, that's a different story. Like if you're like actively writing papers and shit. But if you're just like looking for things that will add value to your life, then just finding what works and then discarding what doesn't. That's kind of how I do it. So Chaotic says that's the problem. Many people don't have a community to look after them and to help them. Yeah, and that's an increasing problem for sure. These days, we are becoming more and more isolated, and like the way I mean, this has been happening since like post World War II. Like the way that cities were being designed at that time, the way that communities are designed, modern communities are designed. There's just so much less social interaction. Ideally, instead of trying to be as efficient as possible with our mental health care, like just gathering all the problems and like putting them on one person. Because I want to understand it from the therapist's perspective too. Like, that's hard when somebody condenses all their pain into a 1-hour session. You know, when they're not talking to anybody else except for you. So it's like you are the only person that stands between this person and, you know, a bad time. I don't like that. I don't like how we've developed that dynamic. I think that communities are supposed to be support networks where you can talk things out with your community. You can reach out your feelers and talk about the things you're going through. And so therefore you're not like I don't like saying trauma dumping, but like you're not just like dumping all your pain onto one person. You're like it's little bits of pain for everybody. You're spreading the pain around. I mean, like I talk to my friends all the time about things they struggle with. It's not every conversation we have. It happens every once in a while, and I'm happy to be there for them. And that's the way it should be. But if they're coming to me every single day, every single conversation with like pain and like needing me to listen, like needing me to absorb all of it, that would be not a great dynamic. But usually that only happens when people don't have enough people to talk to. Orange says, did you ever try capturing your experiences and feelings in a diary or journal? Well, it's interesting you asked that, Orange, because I kind of view my stream as a journal. Sorry, if you guys didn't know. Welcome to my journal, everybody. I feel like this is a great way to capture all my thoughts and feelings, whether people like it or not. No, I don't want it to be just a Marissa therapy hour. That's not what I want to do with this stream. But I like having a stream where I can almost take a snapshot of what it's like to be 27 for me. I do have a journal that I write in. I just have an infinite amount of things to say. Permanent yapper. Okay. French cuisine, fresh herbs. Blah, 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 okay. French. Fresh herbs. I think this is herb. Saffron is an herb. Nice. Bring back neighborhood parks and squares. Yes. Bring back third spaces. Absolutely. Okay. Should I do another No, we're gonna do a faster photographer. Okay. Let's see. There. Chaotic says many academic philosophers also have a big emotional connection to their beliefs. Yeah. Okay. I guess what I was meaning something else. I can't remember what I meant. I guess what I meant was like the part about discarding what's not useful to you. Because ideally in academic spaces you would want to be a little bit more objective in your approach. That's just my understanding. Actually, never mind. Gosh, there is not enough champagne to sedate all these people. Let's see. Oh no. Okay. That's cool. We're gonna put her here. Oh no. We're gonna put her here. Orange says one's community seems a bit self-sacrificing. Let's see. Yeah, we were talking about, oh shit, you guys. Sorry, there's gonna be an ads. Let me know when you're back from the ads. And then I'll be happy to address people's stuff. Ad break. Now it's just me and back. Oh, Orange is back. Already? Oh, interesting. The timer is not very accurate, I don't feel like. Okay, hold on. I will address everybody's comments in a second. I gotta lock in. Oops. Okay. Alright, let's see. So he wants to sit here. Cool. Oh crap. Sorry ma'am, you're not gonna be able to get what you want. Oh boy. Okay. Nobody's getting what they want. Okay. Well, I'll wait for one more minute just in case people are still in the ad void. Okay, so Orange, what we were talking about was, it was mostly about like how it's difficult to have conversations in communities sometimes, especially communities where, like religious communities or communities where everybody's there to gain a lot of meaning from the conversation. When you're there to gain a lot of meaning from the conversation, you're You want to be hyper focused on what everybody's talking about, right? But sometimes people just don't fundamentally relate to what you're talking about. And then that leads them to feel really left out, right? Because they're like, oh wait, I don't resonate with any of this. And sometimes I feel like people feel a bit jealous. Like, oh no, this isn't doing anything for me. Like, why am I here, you know? Because people come to those spaces like with one goal in mind, and the goal is to feel fulfilled and feel, you know. Oh, welcome back, Ivan. So that was what Orange, that was what I meant by the question for today. And what we kind of, the answer we came up with was that it is not always the community's responsibility to accommodate everyone all the time. It requires some work on people's end in order to to ensure that the flow of things is not interrupted, I guess. Okay, welcome back, Ivan. Ivan says, I feel like I don't explicitly use philosophy for mental health. Maybe I use it more than I think. I mean, I don't know. Like I guess I wouldn't know like what is meaningful to you and what isn't. But philosophy in and of itself can be a very meaningful thing that you look at and study. I'm not saying like it's wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong to attach meaning to things and to philosophy, but philosophy tends to like what separates philosophy and like more of the soft, is it technically soft sciences, from the hard sciences, is that hard sciences there's close to objective truth, answers. There's an answer to every problem. When you're doing a chemistry experiment, like, it just is what it is. You solve it, and that's what it is. But with philosophy, it's like we're hypothesizing about things that a lot of people I feel like it's all like a subjective pursuit of like, I think this. I think this. I think this. Because it's a fundamentally unanswerable question, in my opinion. Unless you're Wittgenstein, and Wittgenstein thinks that we're just not asking the right questions. Just word it correctly, and then I always say this, but I'm pissed at Wittgenstein because it's like, okay, what should we ask then? Okay, will you give us the solution? All he does is like complain about what everybody else is not doing, but he doesn't like provide the answer. Anyway, so I guess what I am saying is this is really difficult in the field of international relations as well, because you allow, again, another kind of soft science. There's a lot of opportunity for personal bias to interfere with the research being done. With the research being done, that's why I tend to embrace more of the theoretical. The more separated you are from day-to-day events, the more separated you are from day-to-day emotions and feelings. Orange says, I guess if a community never has a relevance to a person, they could leave. But if they can't, then some accommodation need seems reasonable. Yes. Yeah. I think it was just like the thing the person said, because we were all having a conversation about people were revealing vulnerable things about themselves during the conversation and like pouring their heart out. And it was a time for listening. Everybody was listening, everyone was sharing something relevant. And then what this person does, I gave an example of a person who interrupted the conversation, and it was so stark that it was like a knife cutting through everything. Basically with their self-promotion. They're like, I don't know about you guys, but personally I believe in because we were doing informal integration, which integration, as a reminder, is basically just incorporating things you learned into your life, usually from psychedelics, but it can just basically be anything. Unpacking traumatic things that happen in your life, unpacking meaningful things that happen in your life. And the person interrupted and said, I don't know if you guys know this, but I really believe in, you guys should all see, well, he basically said, you guys should all see a licensed integration specialist. And that's one thing. But then he followed up by saying, I happen to be a licensed integration specialist. So he made the opportunity, he took the opportunity to make it about him and self-promote and like sell himself. And that's what I really take issue with. I think that was extremely inappropriate. So in that case, he should not have been accommodated. He should have read the room and waited his turn before like saying that type of thing. Ivan says, I think there's a lot of philosophy that should be discarded because it is obsolete. But there are some questions that have only subjective answers, especially in ethics. Yeah, okay, yeah. I guess I just wasn't precise enough with what I was saying. I encounter this a lot. I say things that tend to be really broad, and they originate in my brain as something like, oh yeah, this is precise. But when I put words to it, it's imprecise. And so people take multiple meanings from it. Basically what I was trying to say is like, the soft sciences are more likely for people to incorporate personal bias and let personal bias sway their study of it and their research of it. Yeah, that's what I was being critical of. Get integrated, just $59.95. Yeah, no, the people in the psychedelic community charge an absolutely insane amount of money. Like the facilitators, so the people who like sit with you and discuss your experience, and then all the new age people that do like the Reiki and the chakra stuff and the shadow work and it's so expensive. Orange says maybe he's aloof and unaware of how others perceive him. Yeah, I that's kind of what I was thinking a little bit too. Like, he probably just had no idea what was going on. He probably had no idea he just wasn't aware. He wasn't aware of what was. I don't think he meant it in bad faith, but it was a negative interaction, and he shot himself in the foot. I don't think anybody's going to want integration from him because of how he treated that situation. Because like what you want from somebody who helps with integration is someone who can read people. If you can't even read people, dude, you can't no, I'm not going to pay you to help me read myself. If you can't read a room, you just failed at your one job. Okay. Oh no, mosquitoes. Avoid bright colors, flowers, and sweet perfumes. Got it. Okay, no flowers, no bright colors. No. Ooh, what is this? Ooh, I like this cake. Okay, cool. White. What? Oh, perfumed. Never mind. Okay. I forgot about the perfume. This one, and this one. Yes. Ivan says, if philosophy is just opinion, then it's an art project. But claims about reality are not art. And oh, so Orange said obsolete philosophy. Is that implying philosophy must have a purpose? I like the way that if anybody goes to Ivan's streams, I like the way that Ivan frames philosophy. He approaches it in a very kind of scientific way, which I'm not typically used to. By the way, I didn't realize. Sorry, I thought you were a rationalist. He explained in his stream on Saturday that he's not a rationalist. He's a empiricist. So, gotta get the terminology right. Whoops. I like how erotic. I like how erotic Ivan makes philosophy. True. Yeah. And if you want to see more of that, you better go head over to Ivan. Just saying. Just saying. Hold on. I'm a rationalist, but the word is overloaded. Okay. I was so confused, Ivan. I was sitting there, I was like, I could have sworn that you were... Words are... Words. I hate words. I hate words. At the end of the day, all I really care about is making sure I understand people. Understanding people is a full-time occupation. I don't know, like, yes. Cheers. Oh. Yes, that's what I want to do. So if I get it wrong, please make sure to correct me. Maybe he'll start only philosophy. Maybe. Orange says, I've got 3 ripe bananas, so today I'm making banana cake. Ooh, delicious. Don't we need bad philosophy to help navigate to good philosophy? Okay. I guess you could view utility in that. See the utility in that. Yeah, you do need a reference point, I guess, to like be able to compare. Be like, okay, don't do this in your research. Well, one thing I learned from my master's degree was to pull sources from pull information from a variety of sources. I didn't learn that in my capstone class, as we recall, but I did learn that in most of my classes. Just not my capstone. That was a garbage class. Absolute garbage. Oops, he's gonna be unhappy. Oh well. When I see a professor's syllabus and I see that there are papers from a variety of sources, like a variety of theories, viewpoints, lenses, I know that I'm in for a good class. Oh my god, people have so many freaking song requests. Everybody wants to be heard. Everyone wants to be listened to. Everyone wants to be heard. What was my master's in? My master's was in international relations. Yes. International relations. The reason why I'm not currently pursuing that as a career is mostly because there's not really any jobs in that right now. And also I learned how it actually works and I was very much not interested in how it actually works. I'm not interested. No, thank you. Did you know that most people use the word syllabus incorrectly? I did not know that. Wait, what does it actually mean? Did you touch your professor's syllabus? I did not. Although one of my classmates had a huge crush on one of our professors. It was hilarious. The whole time she would like follow him out of the class, walk him to his car. She's married, by the way, and so is he. But it was just like, this cute little like platonic crush. Yeah, it was wholesome. And she would talk about him all the time. She'd be like, professor this, professor that, professor this. Yeah, she had a huge crush. So completely useless at this point in time. Yes. Unfortunately. At this point in time, yes. Especially because a lot of people in my field, like, they want to become a diplomat, for example. And actually even the applications to become a foreign service officer, those were closed for a specific, I'm not sure if they're still closed, but they were closed for a specific period of time. But I also learned that what was involved with that, and I'm just not interested in only because my idea of diplomat differs from what the U.S. government perceives as a diplomat. I like to think of a diplomat as like an actual genuine, like, maybe I'm thinking the wrong word. A connector. Someone who's unbiased by either party, who just wants to make deals between two countries and then make everyone agree. That's not what a diplomat is. A diplomat is somebody who furthers the agenda of whatever government they're working for. And personal, yeah, so. Personally, that wouldn't work for me. Shit. Become the U.S. diplomat in Belgium so we can have parties. Okay. Well, the thing is, they move you every 2 years, so you don't go native. They don't want people going native, so they change their post every 2 years. And you also don't get to control where you go, where you get sent to. And that's another thing I don't like. I would only want to do U.S. and China relations. That's my biggest interest. But there's not really any opportunities in that. Unless I go the nonprofit route. But again, nonprofit and this funding situation with that is also kind of non-existent at this point. So that's not a thing either. I'm not complaining. I'm just that's the reason why I'm sitting here doing this instead of I'm teaching at a nonprofit downtown, like ESL, like super part-time, super part-time, and I might just do that. I think I've given up on the idea of a big C career. I'm not interested. I just want to, like, I don't know. I want to live my life for me, not for anybody else. Wholesome crush that in no way ever escalated because they were married. Well, it actually didn't escalate, but yeah, it was a weird dynamic for sure. It was kind of cute to see how obsessed she was with him. I think it's mostly because she like really wanted a good grade. Orange says we can't have them actually developing sympathy for the country they're in. Yeah, that's basically how it works. Because that's not the point. The point is to further U.S. interests. The U.S. comes first every time. That's why we're working for them, right? And so you can't like become sympathetic to whatever country it is you're working for. That's not the goal here. And so I had a different view of what diplomat means, and it was very different from that. And so I was like, okay, you know what? No. Nonprofits are the devil in your opinion. What? Wait, I want to know your opinion. That's an interesting take. Okay, shall we look at some memes? I've got a nice little collection of memes here today about sharing. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. Okay.
We live in an eternal now.
Thank you, Refly.
You've
Thank
got all
you.
the time in the world, because you've got all the time there is, which is now.
You're so right, Refly. We live in an eternal now. Absolutely. My wife, did you use my expensive shampoo? My balls. Now listen, I don't know actually what men do, but I just thought this was funny. Actually, my understanding of how men shower, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding of how men shower is that they let they shampoo their hair and they let it run off, and they may take this is very stereotypical, okay? So I realize. But like they take the soap, scrub the underarms, scrub the down, and that's it. The water will take care of the rest. Everyone's gonna be mad at me though. Mad at me now. Sorry. Sam says nonprofits commit multiple sins. And the ask. Oh, don't forget. Yeah, that's important. It's only the necessary parts. It's super efficient. It's efficient. I mean, technically, the water will wash the soap down your body, and it will. I say this not as like a completely uninformed take. I've had a man tell me this is how he showers, so that I'm not just coming out of left field with this one. Okay. But I realize that it's not all men that do that. It's just some of them. Sam says they take advantage of the goodwill of workers and vastly underpay them. Yes, true. They have no concept of actually spending their money effectively, thus creating a bunch of waste. True. They often require the problem they are meant to solve to continue. Oh, yes. Okay. True. Okay, I completely agree with those points. For example, because I used to work for a refugee resettlement organization. So their purpose is to bring refugees here into the U.S. And then resettle them. Is their job to solve the underlying problems as to why there are refugees? No, absolutely. They have no stake in the game for that. In fact, they would. Well, okay, I'm not going to say anything else. But here, let me give it a different example. Working at a clinic, a nonprofit clinic, and I'd go to the meetings, and I'd be there in the meetings, and they'd be like, okay, so how can we increase the capacity of our emergency room? Because our emergency room brings in all the money. That was the discussion. The discussion was, how can we bring in more money? How can we have more people having emergencies? I mean, they didn't say it directly, but like that's what their business is. It's a problem. It's a problem with how the system is designed. They're obsessed with money and they're absolutely terrible at it. I would say this, Sam. I would say it's really tricky because in a capitalist society, the way a capitalist society is designed, and also let me know if I'm going to turn the music down a bit. So the way a capitalist society is designed is non-profits are supposed to take over the work. Non-profits are supposed to take over the work that the government and small businesses cannot do. Ideally, in the most ideal capitalist society, a capitalist would make a ton of money and then use that money to give back to the community in the terms of a nonprofit. The problem is that nonprofits take over the work that nobody wants to do, and it's not profitable. It's non-profit, so it's not profitable. And so it's not allowed to profit. And so whoever's running the nonprofit are held to a very unrealistic standard they're like very scrutinizing standard for how the money is being used and donated, right? Because the people are like, if I'm donating my money, you better be using it the right way, you know? Whereas like if there's waste, if there's like excess in a corporation, for example, and the CEO goes on really lavish vacations and lavishly spends their money, there's a little bit less scrutiny there. But if a nonprofit were to, you know, pay their CEO, and there's like a very fine line into how much they can pay, not CEO, but you know, the fucking, what do they call him? Chairman. No? I learned this at one point. Chairman? No. Hold on, I know this. They're a director. Executive director. Yeah, okay, thank you. They're executive director. Can't pay him too much. And they also can't be flashy with their money because, you know, that would look bad. And so they need to always be as efficient as possible in a very non-efficient sector. It's not, taking care of people is not profitable and it's not efficient. People have a lot of needs, especially like refugees, the mentally ill, and often that's what the nonprofits are helping, is more vulnerable populations that need a lot of extra time and extra resources. And so, like, yeah, you're gonna have people going to clients' houses, spending a lot of time, spending a lot of energy, but you gotta do it on somebody else's dime. It doesn't understand. The people donating don't really have an idea, conceptual understanding of how much work is going into, you know. Kind of, Sam. So you're a therapist, right? So I'm assuming, do you manage other therapists? But feel free to explain it. Sam Altman confirmed. Sam says, so there are for-profit and nonprofits that serve the exact same program my company does. The nonprofits are absolutely terrible at it. Well, and it's just this negative cycle. And you're right. They do burn people out. They do take advantage of the goodwill of workers because and when I say they, I mean, I don't mean the people themselves. I mean like the system. They don't really have an option. I don't know. This is why I'm very cautious about where I'll spend my time, because my previous statement about men showering is false. Oh, okay, sorry. Most men also watch their... Thank you for correcting me. Thank you for correcting that misinformation. That was just how that one particular man decided to shower. Thank you. On this channel, we want to make sure we come out with the most appropriate information. I didn't genuinely believe that, right? Sorry, it was a joke, but it was a poor taste joke. Anyways, so I'm cautious with how I hashtag not all men, with where I spend my time, because I was a caseworker before, and if you say that you care and you care a lot, that's very valuable. Because it means you're going to be willing to go the extra mile to help people. And nonprofits get into this dangerous cycle of being like, I've heard this so many times from leadership being like, I don't need the financial benefit. I just know that I'm helping people and that's enough. And it's like, okay, but we need to live. We need to be able to afford to live. So like, self-fulfillment, personal fulfillment is valuable, yes, but like also you need to be able to afford life. It doesn't replace that. I had someone be very, like my boss be critical of me wanting you know, a raise. And, you know, whenever I came to him and asked for these things, there was definitely an assumption of like being really selfish and being like, oh wait, so you're telling me caring about people isn't enough? It's not enough for you? And it's like, dude, I want to care about people, and it's because I want to care about people that I have to take care of myself. You can't take care of other people if you can't take care of yourself, dude. That's the number one thing you gotta remember. If you burn yourself out, you can't take care of anybody. You can't take care of yourself. You can't take care of others. Usefulness is one thing. I was gonna say you're useless, but you're not useless. You know what I mean, right? Sam says, so under Medicaid, there's a service that's essentially community mental health work, teaching skills to clients who don't benefit from outpatient therapy. My company's doing that. Oh, okay. The work is done by mental health practitioners who are basically bachelor's level people in psych. So your company's doing exactly what I was talking about. Oh, I see. Medicaid. Medicaid is a very difficult... I had to, in my previous... Because I worked in a clinic that served refugee populations, in which most of them had Medicaid. Medicaid is... there's an interesting, I think it's called like Stark Law or something, where it's like, if you have anybody even associated with Medicaid, you can't like take them to lunch. You can't even have like a lunch for them. You can't compensate them in any way, because that would be a conflict of interest. And so I was like a community liaison, and I had to get really creative because I was trying to work with other organizations, but we had to make it seem like, okay, we're not doing a sort of conflict of interest thing. We're just like helping each other out. It's very complex. It's hard to describe. It's extensively with the Somali population. Oh, we've got a lot of Somalians here as well. Do a lot of them require interpreters? Yeah. Let's see. Okay. So Sam says, I pretty much brush my teeth, clean my ass and balls and armpits. Other than that, it's just water. Nice. We're learning so many new things today. Learning. I start at top, and once I'm below, I get lazy. Because the water just drips down. Yeah, it wipes all this. It washes all the soap down. Your company doesn't work with interpreters. Oh, okay. So wait, how do you navigate that then? If they need an interpreter, but you can't provide one. Do they have like a family member that? Because sometimes that works. I sell consulting, helping companies get started in the same service, and I help dozens of Somali companies get started. So I just refer them to the companies that do. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, here's some more memes about sharing. This is me. I do this where like, I'll be like, you hugged all the blankets. It's always a fight. If you've ever shared the same bed with somebody, like one of the best investments I made in my marriage was having a long blanket. And not long like down, like long horizontally. Not vertically is cool, but it needs to like wrap around the outside so that everybody has optimal blanket coverage, and then nobody gets upset. Because I've been in situations where I share beds with people, and I'm literally like yanking the fucking blanket, I'm like, mine. Just have separate blankets. Okay. You know, my husband wanted to do that. And for some reason in my mind, I was like, no. I don't know. It feels so lonely. If I have my separate blanket and he had, like, it's just, sad. I want to be able to share the warmth. Together. Scandinavian sleep method is the way to go. What is the Scandinavian? Oh, okay. So it's just like refly. Wait, where's skin? Oh, I'm stupid. I knew that. Okay, so it's not Belgium. It's different. I knew that. Okay, anyway, that's not the point. The point is 2 separate blankets. I don't know, it just feels like there's a barrier. It's like a wall between you. I mean, I'm not saying I'm one of those couples who like we like I refuse to fall asleep like cuddling. I need my space, okay? we need like a California king size bed. I need like a foot of distance between me. So I know this is ironic. I need at least a foot of distance because I need to be able to stretch out because I do the same thing like this. But like if there's a physical barrier between us, that's sad. I don't like it. But yeah, he's wanted this for a really long time. Because I radiate heat. I'm like a huge space heater. And so, yeah. Sam says, I believe in having 2 bedrooms. I'm also single and haven't had a partner in like 6 years. Oh, so you would prefer to sleep separately? You know, that works for some people. My grandparents actually, they slept in separate beds because like my grandma would snore really, really bad. Yeah, she snores, or she would snore. And they would have like a curtain between them. So they sleep in the same room, but in different beds and with a curtain between. Sam would like to have a master bedroom, but I want a separate one because when I want to be alone, I want to be alone. Okay. Yeah. No, I could see that. Having your own personal space in a relationship or in a marriage is important for sure. So I think that's a good method too. Each having their own mattress is also superior. Well, I will say this. So like when I go on vacation with my husband, I actually secretly enjoy when there's twin beds. Don't tell him. I like having the twin bed sometimes. You know, because then I get to just like fucking starfish across the bed, and I just get as much space as I want. So it's nice every once in a while. You just have to tunnel into his blanket. True. Yeah, I don't know. I have a Cal King to my... Yes! The California Kings are the extra big ones. I think that's what the size of bed I have too. It's like extra long, right? Or extra wide peak. Oops. Not that. It's like the superior. You just need optimal space to stretch out. Sam's over here sleeping like a king. And that's what you deserve. Cal King is a bit longer than normal king. Oh, it's longer, not wider. Oh. Okay. Well. I think the one we have is a California King. But anyway, as a tall person, I approve. Anyway, let's look at some more sharing memes. Sharing is caring. Okay. I like this one. Sometimes I look at my husband and think, ain't no way this. Oh my god. Oh, this is funny. Just goofy as hell. Just goofy as hell. Six feet, and my feet almost always go off the bed in normal beds. Real. Yeah, I'm 5'11", so I feel that. The bed I grew up in, like as a teenager, it had a baseboard. No, not a baseboard. Whatever it's called at the end of the bed. And so my feet would like get crammed into the. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. And I need to have the blanket go underneath. It has a football board. Oh yeah, because headboard, footboard. That makes sense. I demand that the blanket tucks under, and it needs to form a vacuum seal. I always get so pissed when my husband like yanks up the blankets and it brings like cold air in underneath. I'm like, no, like I was just so. I need to have it like, just like if you were to take it and form that really sealed in. It's almost like if you were to have I don't know if you guys have ever slept with like a weighted blanket before, but it kind of replicates the experience of a weighted blanket. I tried sleeping with a weighted blanket at one point, and it was just a bit too heavy for me. It wasn't my thing, but I can understand why people would like to sleep with those. I like to just be halfway in between. I like to be like tucked in and like, secured in, but they're too heavy. I feel suffocated. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Eclecte. Like, it was just a bit too heavy for me. And I'm lazy, and so I don't like having to like, like you just feel like you have to, no, not with my blanket. Like folding it, making the bed, not my thing. But anyway. Okay, cool. Let's continue playing the game. Our very important game. Oh, she's gonna be unhappy. Oh well. Heavy covers. Oops, I forgot to turn off the music. 1 second. Oops. Okay, there we go. Heavy covers are annoying when they push down your feet to go sideways if your heels touch the mattress. Yeah, it needs to be like the perfect balance between having like a tiny bit of pressure on the, or like not where the cold air is coming in, but like not too much pressure on your feet that it's forcing them to go sideways. Yeah, I don't fuck with that. Oh no. Okay, wait 1 second. I didn't realize what she was holding in her hand. Everyone's unhappy. Oh my god, everyone's unhappy. Oh, frick. Frickety frick. This reminds me a lot of the movie that I watched, the one we were talking about earlier. If I had legs, I would kick you. Where it's like, you let things build and you let things build. And then the smallest inconvenience. Have you guys ever had that happen to you? Where if you let things build for long enough, the smallest inconvenience will just send you over the edge. Oh no. Oh no, Bridezilla. No. Okay. Okay, you go here. As long as we can make it through the level in one piece, that's all I care about. Okay. We made it. We're good. Sam says, sorry, saliva. Sam says, I think the better question is, what are women doing in the shower? Those herbal essences commercials have made me suspicious. Okay, it's only fair. Hi, DCI. We're talking about men showering. And I had a very, I had a very incorrect, view of how men shower. And so I have been enlightened today. I now know that men are diverse in their showering habits, and I will take that with me. Okay, so how do women shower? You guys heard about the everything shower? You guys know about the everything shower? That's how women shower. There's something called the everything shower where you do everything in one go. And sometimes you do it so you're shampooing your hair, because I don't wash my hair every day. So you do your hair, you shave your legs, you shave your other areas, and it's like everything together. And it takes probably like 20 to 30 minutes. And so a common thing that happens is like you're in the shower for so long. And I love to shower really hot, really, really hot. So it'll get so hot that you'll almost like pass out. That's how you know. Everything, everywhere, all at once shower. Exactly. DCI said soap bar and butt crack last is my rule. Yes, swipe it like a credit card. I do that too. But then at one point I came to the realization that if I do that, other people are doing that. And so once I made that realization, I was like, I am never going to share a bar of soap with anyone ever again. So I always bring my bar of soap. Like I bring an individual bar of soap to everywhere. Because, have I had times when I'm really desperate and I go directly from the ass to the face? It has happened before. When I really needed it to, but usually I use a liquid soap for my face. But I'll be honest, I will admit, Eclectic uses a second body soap. Okay, so you say I double wash my hair, then add conditioner. While the conditioner sits, I use an antibacterial body wash and scrub my entire body. Then I rinse my hair and body. Yes, and that probably takes a long time. DCI, did you see the meme from earlier? I thought this meme was pretty funny. That's what that reminds me of. Yeah, that's what you said reminds me of. Anyway. Luckily sorry. Luckily my hair is not too, I don't spend too much too much money on maintenance. I just try to do the bare minimum. So I don't have really expensive shampoo or anything. Sam says only liquid soap in the shower. Okay, yeah, so some of you guys use bar soap and some of you guys use washcloth. I never got into the washcloth or like the scrunchie or what, not scrunchie, the thing that you scrub yourself with. It's just, I have really sensitive skin, so I think it would just make me, make my skin too dry or too red. I could see how it would be exfoliating, but it would just be too harsh for me. Loofah, thank you. Although I've always wanted to have one of those. Have you guys seen the natural loofahs? Loofahs are a source for bacteria and mold to grow. True. That's another reason why I kind of tend to avoid them. But look, so you can actually, oops, you can actually grow them. That would be so cool. If you could, no, not this. This one. So if you grow the thing, it comes in like a cucumber shape. And then you can just like, if you dry it out, so you dry the whole thing out, you peel off the outside, and there you go. Aren't all loofahs natural? I bet you that they aren't. I bet most of them are plastic. Yeah, like the ones you get from Walmart and stuff. I'm guessing that those are. If you see one that's shaped like this, like shaped like this gourd shape, then it probably is. But the ones that look like this are probably not. No, these are plastic. Yeah. But if you get this one, then yeah, the natural ones look like this, but the wavy ones are more plastic. And DCI, that's what I was getting at. So my perception, and I was quickly corrected, was that a lot of men do not wash their legs in the shower, that they just let the water wash the soap down. And so, yeah. I stop where my hands don't reach anymore. I'm not bending over even in my own shower. And thank you for sharing your thing. Yeah, because it's hard, right? Because you have to like balance on one leg. So I don't actually bend over. I balance on one leg, and that's a pretty precarious situation. Although I do trust my balancing abilities. But yeah, I lift my leg up. Yeah, I've always done it. I hold on to the outside, and then I lift my leg up and reach underneath my foot. Yeah, would not recommend. You gotta do yoga for years for that. Yep. So lucky me, I've been set up. I've been set up to do that. Put my leg on the rim of the bathtub one by one. Oh, that works too. Yeah, it's just... Have you noticed, like, showering is one of those things where it is so muscle memory, you could completely zone out and just do the whole thing. Because I always do one process. Like, I never change it up. It's always the exact same. So you could literally be thinking about 10 million things while you're doing it. It's almost like when you commute home after work and you like wonder, you're like, wait, how did I get back here? How did I wait, I just operated a vehicle and I have no idea how I got back. Oh my gosh, you guys brush teeth? No way. You guys brush your teeth in the shower? That's crazy. I don't do that. That's interesting. Yes, Ivan is a kung fu expert, which is so badass. Okay. Finger food appetizers, morning fry, nothing fried, blah, 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 blah. Okay. The limo, nothing fried. What? What do you mean that's not fried? I mean, okay, fine. I'm just gonna start over. That is rude. Okay. So, limo, grilled salmon. Okay, there we go. Do you leave dirty laundry on the floor in the shower and magically it disappears? I do. Leaving the clothes on the floor. Leaving the clothes on the floor! Ah! Yes! My husband leaves his clothes on the freaking floor. And, what do? I just pick him. I pick him up. I pick him up. Some things you let him do it. You let him do it, and, you just enable the behavior. Okay, we're gonna do a faster chef. I think that's a good thing. Wow, it magically disappears. Sam says, I just like spending some more time in the hot water. Showering is so nice. You guys, make showering, make bathing a spiritual experience. Yeah, DCI, you're on the right tangent. I mean, this is not what you meant, but I'm gonna say, make bathing a ritual, make it a spiritual experience, make it a time that you take care of yourself and your body, and yeah, it's the optimal opportunity. One of the most important parts of my spirituality is I take a bath, and as that ritual is crucial to, I think, me gaining more self-love, because I don't know, it's something about the process of just like taking care of your body and appreciating it for all its aspects. So, sorry guys, there's gonna be an ad. Sorry. Ads. Actually, I'm gonna go get tea. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get more tea, so we'll do an ad break. Okay, we're back. We got some new tea. We peed. I gained self-love in the shower, just like the herbal essences. Exactly. The herbal essences commercials are true. They can be true if you make them true. Love yourself in the shower, whatever that might look like. Anyway, can I show you guys something I kind of was thinking about that I wanted to work on? There is the Twitch channel that I rated last week, The Wizard. I think he's so cool. And he does something that I think is pretty inspiring, and something I kind of want to do something similar. So I'll show you what he does. He does wizard weed walks. He does wizard weed walks. I've been loving watching. I know, he's so funny. So basically what he does is he has a walking pad, and he's got a green screen behind him, and he's got his staff, and he's just chatting and walking. So I'll show you a bit of what he kind of does. So Dr. Foxmeat, wizards be trippin'. So he'll do like a little weed walk, and you see he's like walking.
Wait, Crack Pipe says retirement
through the forest.
Bunk?
And I don't think I should play too much. It's not really allowed to play too much of somebody else's stream. But I was thinking I want to do something really similar to that. Where, like, I think it would be like mushroom themed. I want to do something of a combination between this and Nintendogs. What? Nintendogs? What are you talking about? What I'm talking about is, if you guys have ever played Nintendogs, there's this part of the game where you do a walk, and what you do is you've got your house, right? And you've got little things around. So I was thinking what we could do is we could do like a walk, and there'll be different prizes along the walk, and the prizes would be something like a meme or like a yoga thing, and in between we'd like walk and chat, and then we'll come across it, and it'll open, and it'll be like a present, and it'll be like the next activity that we do. Yeah, when we take them on the potty walk. Yeah, I love playing Nintendogs. And you like drag them. I felt really bad when I'd take the collar and just like yank them, you know. I would always just let them walk at their own pace. But like something kind of similar to this, where I was thinking about developing like a map, and it would look kind of fantasy themed, mushroom themed, and then maybe I'd place different little things along the map, and then we'd like draw a path for the day and like walk on the path and then encounter different like little things along the way. This is like a half-baked idea that I had last night at like 1 a.m. when I was supposed to be sleeping. So it may come to fruition, it may not. So we'll see. I want to do more things, more interactive things, more engaging things. I don't want to just be a gaming streamer. But you got to be creative. I think the weed walks that he does are really creative, where it just feels like you're hanging out with a wizard. You're just walking in the forest with a wizard. It's always exciting when other creators add inspiration to your streams. Yeah, I know. Like, there's so many cool and unique creators out there that are just, they're doing so much, so many cool stuff. So I don't know. Maybe I'll incorporate it. Maybe not. We'll see. One thing at a time, right? I need to keep working on the emotion. Still working on those videos that we're gonna be playing that are gonna like wash across the screen. We'll do that too. It'll all happen. It's all gonna come together. I'm sure. I would never say I'm gonna do something and not do it. Never. That never happens. We also have our art project. For those who are not on the Discord, I did another sculpture 2.0 on Saturday. So here's what it looks like. So sculpture 2.0 is in the works. This time we're learning from our mistakes. So I put like little weights on all the corners to make sure they don't curl up like they did last time. And the thickness is, I want to say, like twice as thick. So we're good there, not too thin. And then we're gonna be really patient. We're gonna wait until it completely dries. And then when we put on the varnish or like the sealer thing, we're gonna wait like multiple days. And then we're gonna, I don't know if I should use plaster or what. Because I feel like it was so close. We did it last time with the plaster. The plaster texture was not correct. And then I didn't give the sealant enough time to set. And that's why it fell apart. So I feel like if I just have the correct texture, because it will pull away from the mold. The whole thing did end up pulling away. It was just I had to shatter the plaster in order to pull it away. And there was also this like weird lip that would hang on to the outside edge. So we're gonna avoid that too. We're gonna think more about the shape and like the properties of everything, and we're gonna do it. Yeah. Am I kind of scared? Yeah, absolutely. Is clay expensive? Yes. I forgot like how much money and time art requires. I actually watched a YouTube video. Thank you. I watched a YouTube video of an artist who said, she basically said, if you're looking for art to relax you and like, you know, you might be disappointed. She was being serious. She was like, art is not often a relaxing activity. It requires a lot of work. And so, I mean, it can pay off for sure, but you got to be willing to spend a lot of time and energy on the art, and not be too hard on yourself when it fails, because it it most likely will fail at least a few times. Crafting is so expensive. Yes. I was only crafting and cooking when I first started streaming, but it was too expensive for us to budget. So I've had to transition into mostly gaming now. Yeah, right? It's really expensive. Like I'll just be honest, like this amount of clay is like $60. And then buying the plaster on top of that, that's like another like $40 to $50. So in total, probably like $100 or so, like more than $100 every time I do. And so if I destroy it, then that's like $100-something out the window. That's like not a trivial amount of money. So, whereas if you buy like a cute little game, right? A cute little game can sometimes cost like $15, $20, especially if like it's a indie game of some kind. And so games can sometimes be more, but yeah, I don't only want to do games. We'll think of different stuff. And if anybody like has any feedback, I'm always open. If you're like, oh, I love it when you do this type of stream, or oh, I wish you could do more of this type of thing, please let me know, because I'm always willing to change it up. A lot of this is about me, but I don't want it to all be about me. Ooh, I like these cute little hors d'oeuvres. Ooh, just little bites. I love going to a party when they have like little tiny appetizers. It feels so fancy. It's so fancy. Oop. Oh no, he's joking. See, this is why you don't eat your food too fast. Slow down. Okay, we're gonna try and clear everybody out and then try and do like a second seating. I think that would be wise. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna put him over here. I'm gonna put her there. We're gonna put her here. And then, doo-doo. Got it. Sometimes I like talking through what I'm doing. Streaming a mix of the things you enjoy doing is what's most important. Don't put pressure or rules for yourself, just do what flows. Yeah, and what feels right. Yeah, that's good advice. Yeah. Yeah, it's important to remember that. Another thing I've learned recently is like it's important not to put all of your hopes and dreams in one hobby. Don't like expect your art project or your stream or whatever to... Wait, why is she mad? I don't know why these guys are mad. They must have not gotten sat with the right people. That was incorrect grammar. It also helps preventing burnout when you're streaming the things you actually want to do. Yeah. But yeah, like I was saying before, like not putting all your self-worth on one thing. Not counting on one thing to go right in order to make or break your day. So like, I try to be careful when it comes to streaming, when it comes to like doing my art project. I like doing a bunch of different things that... Jesus, there's so many things going on. Oh, the bride's angry. Okay, we're fine. Here, you go here, and you go here. See, everyone's happy. I'm not happy. The thing is, when you try and make everybody happy, sometimes you aren't happy. Please tell me he wants cake. Oh, okay, good. It's a constant roller coaster of succeeding and failing. You just have to keep going whenever anything happens. I have way too many hobbies and I'm not good at most of them, but I love them. That's good. Yeah. I basically have told myself, like, I might not be an expert at anything, but at least I can be an expert at trying. I can at least be an expert at trying new things, trying again. Picking myself up and dusting myself off. Maybe one day it'll be in the cards for me to be an expert at something, but I think it has to require me finding something that I really love and Reflex says, Jack of all trades, master of none, is oftentimes better than master of one. Yeah, being like a generalist, being good. Because, yeah, in some cases where somebody's really, really good at a particular skill, they might be deficient in a crucial aspect of their personality. Hi, Dom. I'm doing well. How are you? How's it going, my friend? Dom, we were talking about sharing today. That's what yesterday's meditation was on. I was meditating on sharing. And actually, this always happens where like everything just like combines into one. Things happen and I notice them, and they all compile into one. Like everything throughout the week, it all comes together on Sunday, where I'm like, oh, this is the lesson that I'm being taught this week. So, usual meditation and exercise to start the day. Nice. Starting off your Monday right. Yeah, oh, thanks for asking. It was good. So, I was in the bath as usual, and I had a candle, and it was the fire candle. Okay, no, not the fire candle. All candles are fire. The wood burning candle, the one with like extra fire, the one that like freaking sizzles and like. It's like, I don't know. For some reason, I just could not handle the amount of, it was just consuming everything. I was sitting there in the bath, and of course I had the door closed, and so the area was contained, and I felt like I couldn't think straight because the candle was so loud, and I felt like it was also like stealing all the oxygen. It was consuming all the oxygen. It was like, I mean, it didn't help that I recently watched a video about like how having low oxygen affects the brain, can damage the brain. So I was secretly in the back of my mind thinking like, am I cutting off my oxygen supply? So that was one of my worries. And just the fire, just the audacity of that candle to be taking up my space. Using the candle to meditate. Yeah, usually I use the candles to they add to the ritual aspect. Sometimes I try and do like some candle gazing. Sometimes, and in the past, this particular candle, I've enjoyed the white noise that it provides. So it's like my perspective completely shifted this Sunday, where I was like, I just could not handle it. I couldn't handle it. So you know what I did? I didn't want to blow it out because I was afraid of this just inhaling the smoke. So I just kind of swirled it around until the wax covered it and extinguished it. But I took it as kind of a metaphor for things that had happened earlier in the week, or early in the day rather. I was in a community space. We were discussing this earlier about how we were talking about something really important in my community, and then somebody came along and like said something completely out of left field, and it completely disrupted the space. And so sometimes some individuals, they have so much ego in a particular moment, maybe not even like forever, but like in one particular moment, sometimes you can't accommodate everyone's ego at the same time. They'll like waffle stomping in the shower. Anyone? No. Oh God, that's cursed. Oh, I think I remember H3 talked about that on one of his podcasts, the Frenemies podcast. At one point he was really desperate. No, it was PewDiePie that said that. He shit in the shower at one point. I've never done that before, but I have peed in the shower. I've got a clip about that on my channel, so if you want to... No, as much of a sensory nightmare as it is to step out of the shower and sit on the toilet soaking wet, I would rather do that than waffle stomp. Yeah. Just no. Orange says, once you let candles into your life, they never really leave. Profound. Can I ask what you mean by that? I want to know. But, yeah, it's interesting how your perspective can be shaped by whatever goes on in your week that day, in your environment. And so I was thinking about how some people are like that candle, where it's just like they're stealing all the oxygen. They're stealing all the air. And it's just like, you can feel it. It just sucks everything out. It sucks everything out of you. And you want to give, but you don't have enough to give them sometimes because they just keep taking. It's in a constant state of taking and consuming. Tom says, I find candle meditation so dope, but it's risky personally. Okay, what do you mean by that? Will and I are working towards our French art, ancient Rome, classic cake. Got it. Classic. This one? Okay, French. Is gazpacho French? I feel like it is. What? Okay, I guess not. Try again. Oh, Caesar salad. Is that really a... Okay. Nice. Oh my god, the confetti blaster! If the seated guests get impatient, click on it and it'll fire a bunch of confetti that will cheer them up. Yes! Okay. Now it's a party. Dom says, maybe I told you this story before, but I would get the visuals from it lingering way out of the session. Oh, I think you might have mentioned that before, right? Yes. Yeah, the lingering visuals can be tricky. I only tried the candle gazing meditation that one time. Otherwise, I just use it to just like set the environment and set the space. I like having the flickering in the background. It's just a calming thing. But I don't really do the direct gazing into the candle. Orange says, the memory of their flamey, waxy presence is strong. You'll never forget it. I like candles. Yeah. Orange it is. Candle gazing. It's where you, sorry, I'm getting the yawns. It's where you keep a soft gaze into the candle, not like staring at it, but kind of like a soft gaze. It needs to be at the same level. I'm not an official candle gazer, so don't take what I say as advice. But my understanding is that it's supposed to be at eye level. And depending on how much you lean into it, you can actually generate like a psychedelic experience in your own mind. The workshop I attended that had to do with this was like how to generate DMT in your own mind, sober, and it was candle gazing. I never achieved it, but even the person leading the workshop was saying that it's pretty difficult for just the average person to do. You have to have like years of practice. Yeah, you have to think it's very natural. Yeah, ancestors staring into the fire. Yeah, fire gazing is a very enjoyable activity. I've had many occasions where I've been with my family and we have like a campfire or something. We all just sit and stare at the fire. Like, don't even talk. We just stare at the fire. Orange accidentally did it a few times. And how did it go? So, basically with the gazing, eventually what's supposed to happen is you're going to start seeing visuals. Like, you could even start seeing a small figure. I wonder why that is. Why you start seeing things, or why DMT would be generated? I wonder why DMT would be generated. I do wonder that, like how that would work. There's all these theories, right, about like when the brain is in a near-death state. Oh no, I get the yawns. We're gonna lower the energy meter. No. Lower it by 1. DMT is released in the brain. So maybe if you stare at the candle long enough, you can convince your brain that you're dying. I don't know. Dom says, I would see a coin-sized orb in the middle of my vision that would be mostly blue, sometimes black, sometimes changing colors. Sorry. Twirling in circles, then fading and coming back again. Interesting. And then it would continue on after you're done gazing. And that can be kind of troubling sometimes. Lingering visuals can be troubling. Okay, you wonder why people are attracted to staring at fire, other than the evolution perspective. It's pretty mesmerizing. It's pretty unique, I think. Like, it's pretty, but I don't know. I don't know why that is. It's interesting to think about for sure. Dom says, doing that in that way, I've heard from other practitioners that the orb gets geometry stuff around it. I've heard that too, yeah. So it could either be like a little figure or an orb, and you're supposed to start seeing it even when your eyes are closed. And so first you see it when your eyes are open, and then you start seeing it when your eyes are closed. Perhaps the other way around, I'm not sure, but then archetypal images, then you can sort of generate whatever visual you want. This progression is meant to mirror how, I'm so sorry, the eye perception is layered. According to the person leading the discussion or the workshop, she said she basically like entered the spiritual plane, like the realm that DMT sends you to. She entered that, which I was like, what? That's absolutely crazy. Of course, if I could do that sober, I would absolutely do it. But am I going to? I guess. I don't know if I will spend years of my life practicing that. I don't know if it's that worth it to me, that I would spend years practicing it. Right? I mean, is that all that monks are doing, right? When they're meditating, are they just kind of just tripping out when they're meditating all the time? Just hanging out in that really cool, serene headspace, flow state. I mean, who wouldn't want to? No, they're counting down till dinner time with their beads. If you want to taste the deep end, just string heaps of practice together and get a strong momentum. That's the logic of a meditation retreat. Yeah, Dom, what what's your perspective about those retreats? Because, like, I have access to those since in my community, there's people doing stuff all the time. They're, like, going to Peru. They're doing, like, ayahuasca stuff. They're doing, like, and everything I've done as far as spirituality goes and as far as, like, psychedelics goes has always been by myself at home. And it seems to be working for me pretty well. I'm worried that if I go on a retreat like that, I might just be fueled by experience seeking. But I guess if that's all I want at the end of the day, then I don't know. I don't particularly have anything that I need to work through at this moment. So I'm not sure if, like, going on an ayahuasca retreat or something like that would be beneficial to me. Home retreats. Oh yeah, home retreats can definitely be effective. Yeah. Retreat means so many things. Okay, that's fair. Well, I've said before, like, touching grass. You can touch grass means so much more than just going outside. You can also touch grass within your own heart. The ones where there's no talking, eye contact, and meditating 10 hours. Yes, the person that was doing the workshop, she was basically that kind of person. Like, she would go to Tibet and learn from the monks that basically tell her that she's a piece of shit. Some people like that. I don't know. Basically tell her that everything's wrong with her and, like, beat her into shape, and where she'd meditate for 12 hours without eating or peeing or doing anything. And some people enjoy that. I don't know if that's my kind of thing, but maybe if you do want to reach the higher states of, you know, meditation, then, well, obviously discipline is required. And Dom, you're no stranger to discipline. You have the discipline. Because you come in my chat, you'd say every day you're waking up, you're doing your meditation, you're doing your exercise. It takes a daily effort, right? And do you think that the results are worth it for what you're trying to do? DCI said, meditation to me is spiritual theater. It's akin to people who say God has spoken to them. That's an interesting take. Worth it. Good. And Eclectic says it's worth it for you as well. Good. And so if it's worth it for you, do it. If it's not worth it, don't do it. Don't knock it until you try it, though. Don't knock it until you try it. I like to think about this. Okay. Eventually, I'd like to get to the point. I'm not a regular meditator. I wish I was, but I'm not. I'm hoping the same thing happens with me that happened with exercise, where previously I kind of hated exercise and I saw it as a chore. But now that I've found a form of exercise that I love and I've connected it to so much meaning in my life, like, I want to make sure my body's toned and I want to be able to move all my muscles intricately in it. I enjoy the whole process. You know, it becomes a very pleasurable thing for me to do yoga. I think you just need to find the right meditation practice. I just haven't found mine yet where I'd be willing to do it every day. But it seems like you guys have found your thing. It makes you willing to keep doing it. And that's good. Momentum is such a big factor that you can really get into some deep end stuff. Interesting. Yeah. These days I've been kind of coasting. I've been kind of just like, I mean, I'm happy I'm doing that, like, creative project. And that's fun. So we're branching out a little bit. But as far as spirituality goes, I've been kind of like this. I've been doing my microdose every week, and doing my weekly Sunday ritual, and I'm content. I'm content. And I think this is a place a lot of people reach, where they become content with their life. And that does prevent growth, I feel like. I don't think there's anything wrong with being content and being like, I'm okay where I'm at. However, there is the possibility of having even more enjoyment, even more variety, even more. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, as long as you are living your life without regrets, like if you were to die tomorrow and everything you're working on, you'd be able to say, yep, I could die. I could die tomorrow and be fine. As long as you're at that point where you can say, yep, I'd be okay, then being content is nothing, no problem. But if you were to die tomorrow and start having thoughts flood your mind of, oh shit, I didn't do this, you know, why wait for tomorrow? True. That's true. Don't wait for tomorrow. I think that's a good perspective. It goes back to that thing that one person said was like, he's having the best day of his life. Oh shit, I should have deleted my search history. Okay, well maybe not dying tomorrow, maybe dying right now. What if you were to die right now? If you were to die in this moment, what would you do? What would you do differently? Someone was trying to cheer me up by comparing my situation to someone they know that is in jail for DUI and possession. And my first thought was, I could read in jail. Sam, comparing, it gets so tricky when people try and make you feel better and their only thing they say to you is, it could be so much worse. That's when you get in the dangerous space of like comparing suffering, which is not always helpful because again, a lot of suffering is subjective. And so they're I'm sure they said it in good intentions, but it doesn't necessarily always help. And it might show that they don't really understand what's going on. They did. Okay. Eclectic says, I wouldn't be where I am in my life or who I am if it weren't for being disciplined in my practices. Yes. Discipline. I feel like my feeling of discipline arises from my fear of death. They go hand in hand. My fear of death is a huge motivator for me. Not fear. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to die. Well, I am, but I'm not at the same. I don't know. If I were to like be dying right now, yeah, I think I'd be afraid. But I wouldn't have too many regrets at this point in my life. At least I can die saying I worked on a lot of things and I tried. If I would have died like 2 years ago, that would have been a huge problem. That would have been a huge problem. I'm way better off now than I was like 2 or 3 years ago. Sam says, I knew that. So they did, and I knew that. They had good intentions. They were trying to help the best they could. Yeah. And sometimes if you just recognize that like they're just trying to help, even if what they said isn't exactly like what you need to hear, maybe you can look at the base intention and be like, well, at least they're trying. Ekfleku said, in order to give yourself a better tomorrow, do the hard things today. Do the fun things today. Treat yourself today. Yes, all of it. Today. Today is the only time you have, you guys. Today, right now, today, this is the only time you will ever have. Refly said, Mormons are always better off when they're dead, because they get the gym hall for free in the future. For free. Yeah, it's not too expensive to die. I mean, it's still pretty expensive. But think about it. Just think about it. Imagine your funeral to be here. At the end of everything. At the end of it all. And then the next day, all the young men are going to be playing basketball in the same space. Alright. Let's continue playing for just a bit longer. And then we'll look at the last memes we've got. And then we'll be done pretty soon. Sam says, I'm big on quality time. Quality time. Yes. Making sure every interaction you have. I'm kind of similar. I like to make sure every interaction I have is a good one. Or is the one I want to have. Although that does lead to some problems, right, when I realize it's not all about me. Sometimes I try to make everything about me and me having an optimal experience. That's not always conducive to other people. Or inclusive of other people. But sometimes you have to have foresight into realizing, hey, if I put my own interests aside for just a moment for this other person, they might be really beneficial to me later. Not saying like think about everything in terms of you, but think about everything in terms of you. Let's refer back to the score I got on the narcissist test. Am I a narcissist? Yep, I probably am. Damas, are you looking for new meditation techniques then? I should. I think I'm a bit too comfortable right now. I'm just kind of held back sometimes by being too comfortable. So, and sometimes I'm a little bit overwhelmed by like, I don't even know where to start, if that makes sense. Oh boy. Okay, wait one sec. Oh crap, she doesn't want to sit next to him. Okay, everything's happening. Wait. I'm sorry, sir, you're not gonna get what you want. Sometimes you don't Refly is always criticizing my accent. My accent. Refly's always criticizing my accent. I almost choked on that. Oh, okay. Yeah. Dumbass. Maybe that is what I said. Who knows? Also, don't you love the... I paid for this game, okay? I don't know why it's doing this on the display. It's just... Oh, it's some problem with the resolution of some kind. I don't know. But this is a perfectly acquired, legally acquired game. You can check my receipts. Yeah. Refly says, I don't criticize accents. Okay. What are you doing then? Observing? Observing? You probably have the thickest accent here. I guess I'll never know. Sometimes it's crazy to me that I'll never know. I'll never know what other people look like. I'll never know what other people sound like. Sometimes, as a streamer, it feels like you're just talking to your computer. Oops. Not all the time. I do have moments where I feel like genuine communication is happening, but sometimes it does feel a little bit isolating. But it's nice sometimes when I have like friends who are streamers who come in, because then I do know what they look like. All right. Oh, people are mad. And so I can like imagine things. That's one of my okay, let's see. You go here. I forgot what I was gonna say. It was not important. Calls Morris's landline right now. Joke's on you, I don't have a landline. Nope. There was a point in time when Refly kept saying, "Go check your balcony." And I genuinely thought that something was happening. You can't do that to me. I will take your word for it. You can't make this kind of jokes. I don't know. I don't know what your intentions are. Oh, Eclectic, you're gonna get a landline? Really? Cool. You know what? I thought about that because Stop, Refly, don't do that. I'm not believing you. It's like the boy who cried wolf. Can't fool me anymore. Anyways, I thought about getting a landline. Two, like it briefly crossed my mind. Mostly in the sense of like, I have days where I just don't even want to touch my cell phone. But then nobody can reach me. But I'm wondering about what your reasoning is for wanting to get a landline. Dom says if you Google me, there's some old pictures. Oh yeah, okay, I do know what Dom looks like. Because you've got your YouTube channel and your SoundCloud, which has pictures. So I know what Dom looks like. Although I don't know, I don't know if that was like a picture that was taken a long time ago or now or recent. You never know. There's so many like subtleties with how people say things and their accent and what they look like, and you know, nothing compares to being able to see someone face to face. Eclectic says, I don't like the present and future of technology, so I've been slowly reverting back to the late 90s / early 2000s. That's iconic. I see. So that's why you're getting a landline. That's iconic, honestly. Yeah, you should start a movement. I know that other people are kind of doing something similar. But there should be like a collective movement to work to disengage from technology. That just reminded me, I was going to share a video. Okay, I'll share it tomorrow. I wanted to discuss the video. Brandon Sanderson, he did a talk on AI where it was called "You Are the Art," and I loved it. I thought it was great. Welcome back, Ted. Who is this? Wait, let me see. Who is this? Oh. Okay. Thanks. I knew who I knew that. I didn't know his actual name. Okay. Oh, he hated technology. Well, hating technology doesn't necessarily mean you're going to do something like this. But that's funny. Okay. Let's see. I'm feeling the yawns, you guys. So I think that we're going to look at a couple more memes and then I think we're going to wrap up. Yeah. Yeah, Sam. So according to Dom, he hated technology. Yes. Well, not according to Dom. According to facts. Okay. Sharing. To bring it all together. Let's bring everything all together. Sharing. Oh, I've already seen this one. Let's go back. Sharing things is hard. This guy, look at the look he gives her. I love this video. The look that he gives her, like, nope, not this time. This is truly skilled. Why is the meat exposed? Oh, sometimes at restaurants, that's the way the burger just comes. So then you can pull it apart, and then you're supposed to just close it yourself. Yeah. It's for the personalization of the burger. I think. And for somebody like me, okay, you guys, oh no. This is gonna be a really controversial opinion. Okay, get ready. I like to eat burgers plain. Yeah, I said it. I don't like tomatoes. I don't like pickles. I don't like lettuce. I don't like onions. No. I need the hamburger, cheese, maybe some mayonnaise. Sam says, I have yet to hear a single controversy. Sam! Okay, fine. It would be controversial to all the Mormons in the community I came from. Not that particular opinion, but other opinions that I've shared before. I just want everyone to like me, okay? So I preface things by saying, hey, this might be a controversial opinion. Hey, everyone, please like me, even though I give my opinion. Mormons aren't a high bar. Well, Mormons are often shocked by a lot of things. Like, very shocked by certain things. So that's why I make that connection. Voice crack. Love that. I can't I don't think I could physically ban myself. I guess I could try. Eclector says, everything I say is controversial or outlandish. I yap anyway. I don't know. I feel like I've shared some controversial things. When I shared the Ho Math video, we talked about that was controversial. I feel like it was a point of contention. We'll say that, a point of differing opinions. Anyway, so I need the bun. I need the hamburger patty, perhaps some mayonnaise, okay, cheese, and in the most ideal situation, avocado. I will put avocado on everything. I love everything. That is not plain. Okay, well, I know that when I go to, if I were, like in the past when I went to like fast food restaurants and we asked for it plain, like I'd ask for it plain so that I could add back on what I wanted. But yeah, I know. Plain is bun and meat. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the plain community. I apologize. I am misrepresenting your culture. Eclectic says, if the sauce isn't overflowing and dripping, don't send it my way. That's an interesting way to eat a burger. Okay, my dad's the same way. My dad's the same way. When we have white people taco night, white people taco night, white people taco night. Let me share the Canva thing so you can get the. Let me just see if I could find the image again. Yeah, he would like put the ultimate amount of. Yeah, that's okay. This is pretty accurate. Like just. Oh no, this one. This is it. Ketchup, salsa, and it would just be like dripping out constantly. Not my thing, but some people like it to be. Yeah, this is. This is the kind of tacos that we had growing up. Sometimes there'd be some black olives. Yeah, so I grew up hating tacos. And you can see why. And then when I was an adult, a full-grown adult, is when I had an actual like real taco for the first time, and my mind was blown. I was like, oh, my whole life I had no idea why people like tacos. I just didn't get it. And then when I tried an actual taco, okay, sorry, we're not going to discriminate. Maybe a little bit of discrimination against the white people tacos. But when I had a street taco for the first time, my mind was blown. It was amazing. It was so good. The flavor and the lime and like the different salsas you put on top of it and like the delicacy of the corn tortilla. Delicious. I've never gone back to a flour tortilla. Absolute horror. Yeah. Refly said, go for beef patty and bacon. Oh, okay, bacon is good too. Okay, then I guess it's not plain. Sam says, I vastly prefer flour tortillas. Okay, that's fair. You can like bend it. They're very bendable, and the corn tortillas, because I don't really like these crunchy corn tortillas. I prefer the ones where you can bend them, but they still do break. They're pretty fragile. And then flour tortillas, you can just roll everything up really nicely. But for me, I prefer the corn. Maybe one day I'll go back to flour, but it's just like my whole childhood, well, that's all we had, and we had this like once a week, and so I was so sick of tacos when I was an adult that I was like, I hate Mexican food. So that's kind of why. Anyways, my friends, I think that it is time to wrap up. I think that it's time to see if there's anyone to raid, because I gotta go. But Orange, I completely forgot to answer your question. I'm sorry. You asked, when will you be mycelium, the Twitch logo? Good question. So we're waiting for this puppy to dry. We're gonna do it slowly. This is gonna be very slow. Very, very slow. Gonna make sure we make the mold and the plaster. I'm gonna do that off camera probably. But once I've got the mold ready, we're gonna be ready by 2030. Perhaps. Hopefully. Ideally within the next couple months. Hopefully. As soon as I got that mold, I will be showing you the process of growing mushrooms. I do definitely, that's the most, like anybody can make a mold, and it was fun while I did it. But like what I'm most excited for is like having the mold and showing you guys how to grow mushrooms. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Oh, thank you, Eclecte, and thank you, thank you everybody. Very nice of you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it too. It was a fun day today. Thank you. Yes, Sam, I did see that Duncan is live. However, I feel like I raid him too often. I don't want to like come on too strong, you know what I mean? But he's awesome. Definitely go check out Duncan and his channel. Let me see. Well, we could, let's see. We could raid. If anybody has any other ideas for who I could raid, feel free to let me know. I'm always so bad at raiding, you guys. I'm looking. Oops. Wait, is there anybody else? Is there anybody else doing Wedding Dash? Let me see. It's just me. Okay, it's just me. Oh, is anybody doing Cake Mania? No. Sad. Okay, philosophy. Can I not I'm so glad that I'm not showing you my display capture because you would see how I spell things. Please rate a goth and being the wingman for all the men in the chat. Okay. Unfortunately, well, I don't know any good goths, Refly. I don't know any goths on Twitch yet. Maybe one day I'll get integrated into their community. Who's this? Okay, wait, I kind of want to raid this person. Girl on the Ground. She's talking about philosophy. The topics are existence of God, what entails justice, consciousness, etc. She's got a cute little Minecraft. She's sitting at the end of a table. She's got Minecraft behind her. This is interesting. Okay, we're gonna raid this person. We're gonna try something new today. The duality of woman. Okay, that's, you know what? That sounds just like my thing. Okay. Thank you all for being here. I hope you have a good rest of your day. We'll see you next time. And, yeah. Okay. Bye-bye.